So we'll get it kicked off, Brianna, if you'd like to start.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for allowing us to be here and to have the opportunity to speak today. I definitely have seen some very familiar faces who are intimately aware of what we do in the youth programming at the Department of Workforce Development. But I want to kind of just talk about a few programs and some of the ways that they kind of touch that pipeline. They're really doing a lot of preparation activities. So the first is our Jobs for America's Graduates program, or JAG. And trying to do this in a lightning round will be really interesting because I could talk for JAG about 2 hours. Oh gosh. But when it comes to JAG, most of you probably have heard JAG as an at-risk dropout prevention program. And we're really trying to rebrand what we do and focus in on the workforce preparation skills that we provide to our JAG students involved in our 140 plus programs across the state of Indiana. With that, we also have been guided by the JAG National Organization, which is having us hone in on 3 new pillars when we're talking about the model. The first is that we're teaching our students through project-based learning instruction. So what they're doing is real-world preparation for how they're going to work in agencies and organizations and do that in teams. And so that it's not just really lecture-style instruction anymore. The second is a big focus on trauma-informed, providing a trauma-informed environment so that the students who are involved in our programs have barriers to success. They have academic, socioeconomic, familial barriers. And so really making sure that our staff serve as mentors and kind of access guides and counseling services for them to help resolve some of those trauma issues. And the last one, which is very easy to understand, and it's what you all are focused on in kind of the local areas, and that's employer engagement. And the JAG program has a very robust workforce experience program where we're putting youth in short-term experiences at local partners, really focused on aligning that with the career pathways of interest for the students who are in our programming. The really wonderful thing about JAG, and this is kind of a no surprise to everyone, but we have had a very strong history of success. Consistently graduating our students who are involved in our programs 95% or higher. This year was a banner year at 96%. Our students earned $35 million in scholarship access to further education. Really great partnerships that we have with CHE and some other local organizations that help that. And then finally, kind of the big one is that it's jobs. Jobs isn't our first name. And so 90% of our students this past year went on to employment. 92% of them were in full-time employment experiences. So that's JAG. But I also have a very quick little information, again, lightning round, on our young adult services program, which is really what we would consider our out-of-school youth services, which many of you will be very familiar with because our access points are generally speaking in our Work One offices or local libraries. But we know our youth coaches who are out in the field are finding kids who are playing on the basketball, courts across the town, or they're finding them working at gas stations and really trying to help them access our services and use, again, that workforce preparation, access to further education, guidance and counseling, leadership, mentoring, and frankly, about 10 other services that they can access from us to see that success in their lives, again, still while overcoming those barriers. I'm very proud and excited to share that our out-of-school youth this past year, we had about 80% of our students go on and get further education or employment or training, which is a really big marker for us, and again, is certainly through the work of our employer teams and those doing outreach. And then last but not least, our credential attainment rate was 64%, so we've exceeded the national goals for our students to go on to that education, complete it, and then get jobs. That's all.
Thanks, Bree. Appreciate it. Marilyn?
Hello, everyone. Like Brianna, it's great to see so many friendly faces that I recognize out in the audience. I oversee the adult education program, which is known as we owe Title II. Many of you should be familiar with that, as I believe each one of the workforce boards has an adult education provider sitting on the board, and I see a few of you out in the audience today. I am always excited to discuss what it is that we do in Indiana with adult education, not just because of what we do, but because we do it so well. And tagging on to what Bree said about outcomes for the JAG program, Indiana is a national leader in adult education, and just recently submitted our annual data again, and over 2/3 of our students in adult education obtained a measurable skill gain, which means they achieved a 2 grade level or more gain in their educational functioning level, or they earned their high school equivalency diploma within this last program year. That's remarkable when you look at the fact that 75% of the students that come to us at a grade level at 6th grade or lower. So to those providers that are out there, kudos to all of you. One of the great things that happened with WIOA was we were able to expand the services that we offer. We do that in a number of ways, but two that I wanted to highlight today that are of particular interest to workforce boards would be our integrated education and training programs. This is a model where we offer basic skill remediation or the attainment of their secondary credential, along with workforce preparation skills and some type of occupational skill training leading to a career pathway that's in demand in your local area. So if you're not familiar with the IET model, please connect with your local adult education provider. Over 3,000 certifications were issued last year through adult education in this model. The other one that I want to mention is our workforce education initiative. This is where we're partnering with local businesses. In Indiana last year, our adult education providers partnered with over 200 businesses across the state, and over 1,000 incumbent workers were served by Indiana adult education. Some of those included English as second language services, but also high school equivalency attainment classes, and anything that the employer needs. Our adult education providers are very nimble, and they can adjust to whatever the needs are of that local employer, so please reach out to them. And with that, I will pass it on.
Thank you, Marilyn. David.
Can you hear me? I'm David Douglas, and I oversee the Jobs for Veterans State Grant. Those are in your local work one offices. They would be the employees that are the local veteran employment representatives. We call them leavers. And then the disabled veteran outreach program specialists. We call them DBOTs. So our grant has us as a staffing grant, 100% advocating on the behalf of veterans. On the side note for that, our DBOTs are the individuals that serve truly the hardest to serve individuals that come into work one. They're homeless, they're incarcerated, they're living on mom and dad's couch, they're veterans, and sometimes they have significant barriers to employment that causes them to have issues with even being able to talk to other people. So it's easier for them to talk to the DBOT in the office. Now, our local veteran employment representatives are partnering with your business services as a team, going out advocating on behalf of the veteran, but selling all of the Work One product. Everything that we have to offer in a Work One, the leader's job is to go out there and let the community know that we're here to help those individuals become employed with your companies. The biggest thing we've worked on over the past 2 years is making sure the partnerships are there. Whether it's with Region 1 all the way to Region 12, we are really trying to make sure that the vet staff are there as a value-added source to the Work One. So we can change the light bulb because we know the applicant has to see the application. It's okay to ask us to change the light bulb. We can do that. But we can also go out with the business services representatives to talk to the employers about a job that maybe someone else in the office has. They've got a client that has a special skill set that fits a certain company. Our job is to make sure that we go out there and take that skill set and sell it to that company. So with the Jobs for Veterans State Grant, we're hoping to continue the partnership, and if you ever need us, just ask one of the veterans to come up and talk to you.
Thanks, David. Dr. Allen.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be part of this panel. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer for the Department of Education. It was a position created in February after 12 years of being a superintendent in 3 different districts in the north, central, and southern part of the state. I feel very fortunate to be on Dr. McCormick's team. Workforce and innovation is a primary responsibility of my role, and I value that very much. A couple of things that we're doing, STEM, is a huge initiative inside the Department of Education, and it's not just making sure that we're helping teachers become more proficient in teaching STEM inside their classroom through project-based learning, but it's also how do we better connect students to the business community to give students that authentic learning experience for relevancy's sake. Computer science is another major initiative that the governor has, and it's in my area of responsibility. We are one of the top states in the country relative to computer science, and I say that because I've been told that by other experts around the country. And so we have a lot more work to do, but it's nice to know that we've made a big commitment. We've trained over 1,000 teachers in the past year in computer science. We will train 5,000 more in the next 2 years. And so there's a big effort to make sure that we're upping our game when it comes to STEM-related professions. Work-based learning is a big part of what we do, and we are taking many initiatives inside of our department. The ultimate goal is to have at least one work-based learning coordinator per district in the state of Indiana. I'd prefer at least one per every high school, but we'll start somewhere. The idea of these positions is to make sure you have that individual who's the liaison between the K-12 environment, higher education partners, our business and nonprofit community. These are individuals that are really flexible in their ability to communicate with educators as well as communicate with all other community stakeholders. So we're making a huge effort to create that opportunity throughout our state. And then employability skills is another big part of what we do. And I know you've talked about that. It's something that I've lived in my role. I believe so strongly that that's the foundation of our society, is developing people of strong character, and that has to start really at birth, but obviously at least when they enter the school environment. I believe pre-K through 12 is the foundation of everything that goes on in our society. We are the foundation. It all starts with us. And so that's a huge commitment, and we need to be connected. We need to be at the table with all of these other partners, with all of you, to try to make sure that our young people are going to be successful, regardless of what their best fit is when they leave. And lastly, I'm just a big believer in this whole idea of pathways, connecting to the talent demands of various regions, making sure K-12, higher ed, your profit and nonprofit communities are all at the table in a community advisory setting, making sure you're identifying what is needed for whatever that region is, and that students are well prepared and they can see a path. They know exactly the kind of path that will be their best fit. So those are some of the major areas of focus that I've been engaged in.
Thank you. And lastly, Jeff?
Thank you. So vocational rehabilitation, we're a program that only serves individuals with a disability that creates an impediment to employment. And that's a very key piece for us. We do anything from training for individuals, whether that's helping pay for maybe a college degree or some kind of certification, to modifying somebody's home or their vehicles so they can get to work, even down to employment services, which is having one of our providers help them with their job search, help them actually do on-the-job skills training, do trainings there with job coaches who are on site, making sure that they get started on the right foot with that employer, and that the employer understands their disability and some of the issues that may come from that and how to overcome those. So a lot of services that we provide there. We are working on a lot with our pre-EDs, which is our pre-employment transition services. That's been a big focus for us, especially under Wheela. Focusing on those individuals that are 14 to 22, and we're looking at things like job readiness training, work-based experience that we can provide, helping them with understanding how to do more self-advocating for themselves as they get into college or into the employment field. Also, what are those post-secondary options? What's best for them? Is it going on to get a college degree, or is it getting into a certification program, or is it just getting ready to the workforce with the skill set that they have? That's really the main focus for the pre-EDs piece of that, is just kind of getting those high school students on the right track. The good thing with that is we can follow them through all the way till 22, which we can even follow into that college piece of that. So after they graduated, we can help them, same thing at the college level for those first couple of years. For us, we have a pretty interesting model for our counselors, which is different than a lot of states. We are all virtual. So our counselors actually work wherever the participants are. So we're in the work ones, almost every day. Somewhere we're in a work one. It may not be yours, but we're in one. We're on the workforce boards. Our staff are really just out there in the field trying to help that way, so we don't have to worry about how the person gets to us. We're going to take the business to them to try and help them. One thing that we're looking at is the talent pipeline, where we come into place. I think for all of you guys, is looking at how can we partner. I mean, with you guys, you may have programs that are already successful, already work, it's already the best fit for that individual, but they may have a disability. So how do we help that individual overcome that disability? We provide a lot of support services. So what can we provide that you can't? Or maybe what can we provide that you may have been able to provide, but now you can take those funds and provide somebody who doesn't have a disability because we were able to pick up that support on our end. So that's really where we can come into play in this talent pipeline and trying to help.
Thank you. So in conclusion, I just want to thank the panelists. As you can tell, they have an extreme passion for the work that they are doing. We're grateful for your leadership, and we recognize the fact that we are in the people business, as Ron said. I love that. And each of these individuals is collaborating with all of you and with each other to help continue to build that talent pipeline. So let's give them a round of applause. Thanks so much.